Wednesday night, but we can still have church. How many of you grew up going to Wednesday night church? Raise those hands. Wow. Okay. How many of you, the Wednesday night service was longer than 2 hours? Anybody? Whoa. Okay. Have any of you been to a church service that was longer than 4 hours? Woo! Longer than 6. Longer than 8. Wow, right here. Way to go. That is awesome. Well, don't worry. It will not be that long tonight. Okay. So if you have, I hope you grab notepad or something out there, or if you have something to write down, your phone. This is going to be important that you know this information, okay? So we don't want it just for you to hear it and then do nothing with it, okay? So thank you guys for jumping up. That's the dream team, right? They're just ready to rock and roll. Here's the deal. Here's what we want to do tonight, okay? Here's what I want to do, and then Nick's going to come up and share as well. Clearly communicate strategy, okay? That's the goal. So it's equipping, training, but what we want to do is clearly communicate the strategy. So Lord, just help us. So 10 years ago, Laura and I started on this wonderful journey of trying to live a healthier lifestyle. And what we decided, our vision kind of for our lives, was we wanted to live full lives. Anybody else here? We wanted to live full lives right up until Jesus called us home. And we knew that the way that we were eating was not we were not on a great path in order to live that type of life. And so we changed a few things. And I remember it was 2 or 3 years ago, we were kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Does anybody know what that's like when you're trying to eat healthier? Anybody? Come on. And so I was, Dawn, you're lying right now. I saw that. Yes, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I was given the task to go and to buy supper that night. And so I went to Price Chopper, and I'm like, okay, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I am going to choose cheap over quality. Amen, anyone? Cheap over quality. And so I picked up pizza, and then I picked up ice cream. And yeah, amen, someone. I came home, and I brought it through the doors. Men, have you ever experienced this? And my wife looked at me, looked into my soul, and saw darkness. No, she was like in shock. I mean, she was like in shock, like, what are you doing? And we had to come to Jesus moment. I learned something that day. Here's what I learned. Okay, it wasn't so much about the pizza and the ice cream. Of course, it was not healthy and it wasn't a good move. But what we started to change was our lifestyle. And when I brought that home, what it told her is that you just compromised on one of our core values, on what we believe, on who we are. Like, this is so much more than just food. And I saw that, okay, as a family, our culture had changed. We now were doing things differently. And the culture changed how? The culture changed not because we said it would. Okay, the culture changed because of the vision that we had and the discipline of our lives. Therefore, that's how culture came about. And so, when we're talking and looking at our church, I want you to know this is exciting for all of us here. Whether you've been coming for a few months or years and years and years, we really feel like the dust has settled and we are beginning to identify our culture. And we're beginning to understand it. And we're thankful for that. Because we had transition and then we had COVID, okay? And there was a lot. And God is so good, isn't he? Come on. God is so good, and financially, I know that was a concern for many people. Financially, the church was strong, and through that, we really felt like the Lord gave us clarity on where we were going in our culture. And I want to tell you this as a pastor, as a leader, and as somebody who attends the church right alongside each of you. Laura and I love the culture here. We do. Like, we are really, really excited. Laura and I, again, 2 years ago, talked about when the transition happened, we talked about, wouldn't it be a shame to build something that we didn't want to be a part of? Because you can do that. Some of you are in jobs right now where you're making a lot of money. You've climbed the ladder, and you realize culturally you don't fit anymore. And it's a difficult place to be. Maybe even in your own families. You go home at night, and you're like, my family, this is toxic. This is not healthy. But you realized it was partly because of you and the culture that was created because of the vision that you had. We love the church. Laura and I do. Like, we would attend this church. I know that sounds silly, but in the past, honestly, I don't know if I would have attended other churches that I've been a part of. And so there's a grace for where you're called, right? I say it like this. God, wherever God calls you, he gives you perspective for it, and he gives you passion for it. Like, he gives you his perspective. And so it allows you, he also gives you perseverance. Can I get an amen, right? He gives you those things, but we love what is happening here, and we are glad to be a part of it. And we hope that you are too, because this culture we feel like is from God. And again, more and more clarity is coming. Okay, so with this culture, here's what we're figuring out. There's a pace to ministry. Okay, there's a pace or a rhythm to our lives. Do we have anybody who runs in here? Yeah, there's 2 or 3. Right on. Okay, it's a good thing. Yeah, there we go. So if you guys all decided, those of you who don't run, if you decided this weekend you're going to go out there and you're going to knock out 3 miles, okay, that would be great, but you'll be sore. Okay, but when you go, here's what you're going to experience. You're going to experience different minute miles. Okay, your pace is going to be all over the place. Your first mile might be 15 minutes, your second might be 12, and your third might be 25 minutes. Okay, but if you stick with it in 6 months, those same 3 miles, you're going to have a pace, and it's going to be within seconds of each other. Okay, you might have 10-minute miles, 10:05, 10:01, 10:08. Okay, those of you who run, you know what I'm talking about. Why? Because you know what your pace is. You know the rhythm. You know, okay, this is what I'm able to handle. And they tell you, if you ever go and run a race, when I ran my first half, they said, don't try to keep up with other people. Don't try to maintain their pace. Keep with your own. Because if you try to keep up with their pace, here's what you're going to do. You're going to burn out. You're not going to be able to keep up. And if you slow down to keep up with somebody else's pace, you're not going to get the time that you could. You've got to know your pace. And how many of you know this? There's always this temptation to go faster. Right? There's always this temptation. Faster, faster, faster. What if God is saying slower? And again, I believe when you figure out your pace, there's grace for it. God's like, there's grace for your pace, CT Church. And we feel good about our pace. I was a part of a church. Laura and I were. We interned there, and then they offered us a position. We decided that wasn't the place for us. Great church, great church. This church was in the top. I calculated it, 0.03% of fastest growing churches in America. There are 350,000 churches in America, okay? So this church was exploding. And I'm sitting there in a staff meeting, and the executive pastor, when you're that big, you have executive pastors. And the executive pastor, Pastor Blaine, I'll never forget this, he said, listen, church, we are a big tree, which is exciting. We're growing numerically, spiritually, but we have a small root system. And so any kind of gust of wind, any trial, any difficulties could blow us over. And I thought that was a lot of maturity to recognize that in the church. And the church is still going. They've got a whole new leadership team because that wind came. And that root system was not able to sustain that tree. And of course, God is good, picked it up, and they're going strong again. But it's amazing to me, again, the temptation to grow really, really big and not be concerned about what nobody sees. Right? We're always concerned about the growth, what people see. What God's concerned about is the roots. And so we want to grow deep, and we believe that we are on the right path. We have a rhythm to the ministry, and we're excited about that. Here's what we are doing. So with this rhythm of growth, okay? And when we say growth, we're not just talking about numbers, but God's about numbers, right? So we're not afraid of that either. What we want to do is we want to learn the discipline, I say discipline, of embracing less, right? Not more. We want to embrace less. Steve Jobs, whether you like him or not, you know that he changed the world. And he was let go from Apple, as many of you know, and then all of a sudden Apple found out that they had lost somebody who had vision. And so in 1997, they bring Steve Jobs back, and you can go on YouTube right now and watch the message or the teaching that he gives to his team. It's amazing. He's a great storyteller. That's what was so strong about Steve Jobs. But Steve Jobs is up there, and he's talking to them, and here's what he said. Apple, what's happened is we've complicated things. There's too much going on. And what we need to do is get back to the heart. We need to simplify what we do. Because it's always clear, right? The snow is always cleanest at the top. You've heard this before. Vision is always cleanest at the top, most clear, and then it gets muddier on the way down. So he says, simplify. And I think it worked out pretty well for him. Wouldn't you say so? iPhone, hello, somebody. It changed everything. And so here's the deal with churches. Church is susceptible to overdoing it. We feel this pressure that we're the house of God. We've got to save the world. And when you get up there and you say, we're going to save the world in front of the church, it sounds really spiritual and powerful in the pulpit. And then somebody asks you this question, how? And you're like, shame on you. I don't know. Right? And here's what I've learned. It's easy to get up here and throw out goals and big plans, but if they're so big and so far out, then guess what? I'm not accountable to it anymore. It gets me off the hook. We're going to save the world. How? I don't know, but God's going to do it. Amen? Amen. And we get pumped up, and then we don't see any progress. And so what we want to do is we want to eliminate that. Here's what one of my hero, leader, pastor, father said, Craig Rochelle. What is urgent? Now, you might want to write this down. It's really good, especially for your own lives, for your company. What is urgent usually screams louder than what is important. Woo! You guys know how much revelation is in that statement? I did not come up with that. Okay, look at this one. If you're always responding to what is urgent, you will end up sacrificing what is important. Oh my goodness. This is wild because I tend to, when something seems urgent to me, I want it to be urgent to you. Like when I'm stressed, I want you to be stressed. Anybody know people like that? Like their procrastination suddenly is your problem. Oh yeah, come on, we've all met those people. We've been that person. And here's the deal. It's a powerful statement. And it was humbling because I just did this to somebody. Like I was on the wrong end of this one. So as you guys know, through COVID, I'll just give you a little insight with me and with our team. Cyprian, Pastor Cyprian, I believe has a very caring heart. It's not that I don't, but he has a strength there. And I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, or at least I'm learning them. Okay, and so one of the things, like he's caring, and Letty's got this strength, Nick's got this, other leaders you guys have different strengths, but one of my challenges is compassion, okay? Anybody else like me? And it's not that I'm not compassionate, but during COVID, as you guys know, we had people who were sick and then even passing away. And I was feeling overwhelmed because not only do you have to lead on Sunday and you have to lead culturally, but you have to be there for families that are hurting and you have to try to comfort them as best you can. Of course, the Holy Spirit does that. So I called two pastors and I told them, I didn't call, I texted them. And I wrote down a text, or I typed a text down, and I copied and pasted it and sent it to both of them. Have any of you ever done that, right? Like, you matter so much to me. Two people, okay? And I put their name in there, and I basically said this. Hey, I'm feeling overwhelmed. This is not my strength. Would you, here's what I basically said. Would you help me in this area? You've been a pastor. Both of them have probably been pastors for 15 to 20 years plus. Admire both of them tremendously. And one of the pastors reached back out to me, and he says, I'll be there. If you need this and this, we'll go out to lunch. I'll make time. Because I had even said, maybe you could do a little mini conference where you could help other pastors. Like, I'm giving him all these ideas. And he's like, we'll make it happen. And it meant a lot to me, which I'm so thankful. The other pastor, who I admired just as much, texts me back and he says, honestly, Jonathan, I'm so sorry. That's not my strength. He says, I'm really good at leadership development and vision. Praying for you. And I was hurt. It's like, what kind of pastor is that? And I had to process that. And so would probably some of you. I had to be like, what? That pastor should have cared about me. And I later showed Laura it. I didn't say, can you believe? I was like, hey, look at what they said. And Laura said this, wow, that's amazing. He knows his lane. He knows his strengths. And it was humbling because my drama and what I was going through, I wanted them to fix it. And it wasn't his calling. And the church, again, is susceptible to this. So we want to do less better. All of us could do that in our lives, couldn't we? We want to do less better. Matthew 10:5 says this. Jesus sent out the 12 and commanded them, saying, do not go into the way of the Gentiles and do not enter a city of the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Verse 7, and as you go, preach, saying the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Now, we won't unpack all of this, but look at what Jesus did. He said, here's where you go, and here's where you don't go. Doesn't even seem spiritual. Like you go here, but don't go here. Vision is not just about where you're going, but where you shouldn't go as well. So here's where you go, and then watch what he says. Here's what you preach. For a pastor, that would be a blessing. Like Jesus says, here's what you preach, here's the material, and then later on he says, here's how it's going to be funded. He lays it out for them. They were laser focused. It was a straightforward task. And for some of you, church has been overwhelming because you feel like you've got to take on the burdens of the world. And I'm telling you, God has given us and you a calling. And it's simple, okay? Straightforward. I'm not saying it's simple like easy, but it's not overly complicated. So that is our discipline. So if you haven't been to a CT Connect, this is what I really want you to write down. There are 5 areas of opportunity for people basically to receive and to give, to serve, not financially, but to serve, okay? So people can receive and people can give, all right? 5 areas. This is it. This is it. This is our umbrella. Here we go. Sunday morning service, okay? That is something that we are putting a lot of energy and time. I hope that you see that. I hope that you can celebrate that with us. Dream Team. We had 6, I don't want to say families because individuals too, 6 units, okay, visit the church this last Sunday. That's got to be the highest number in like 6 years for us here. So people checking out the church. Sunday morning, no, is not church, okay? That service is an hour. We're all mature enough. We understand that. But it sure is a good opportunity to witness to people. It sure is a good opportunity, I wrote down this, to bring hope. Like, if anything, it's a pep rally. And if you're, like, struggling, hey, why is Jonathan always trying to be so positive, like Caleb? Okay. Positive, encouraging. Yeah, see, they've done a good job. Here's the deal. Life is hard. Life is difficult. We all know this. And what we have found out is that when you can really go deep, okay, Sunday morning is not conducive for that. So when you really can go deep is the second one is our groups. Okay, is our groups. And that is the relational connection. And actually this Sunday I want to talk about, the circles, the relationship circles. And as the men's study, we talked about correct rebuke. I shared this on Sunday. Who has permission to do that in your life? Where they can rebuke you, but not just that, but you would receive it, okay? A group is trying to make that environment, so we set that up. So Sunday morning services, groups, CT Focus, marriage night. How many of you were here? Okay, it was awesome. Okay, so what we're trying to do as a staff, we're saying, what are the areas that we're struggling with, or what is something that God's highlighting. Let's have a focused night, not a Sunday morning, but where we can tackle that subject. So we looked at marriage. We tackled that. And then the formula as of right now is to have classes, smaller classes after that. And Laura and I were just at the class with Craig and Jill. I'm telling you, the story that came out of that was amazing. So that is something we've done in the past, but we've given it a title. So we're going to keep doing those, but very few of them. Okay, very few. The next one will probably be a parenting, just because we have so many young families. Okay, so Sunday service, groups, CT focus, CT, any Toy Story fans in here? Yeah, 90s kid. CT and beyond, I know that sounds cheesy, ministry and beyond. Okay, Buzz Lightyear. But it's just ministry outside these four walls, but it goes beyond writing a check. Okay, in fact, David Burge, as an elder, is being connected with our missionaries. And so what we're working on is relationship. We don't want to just write a check to them. That's great, but we want to make sure that there's opportunity for us to find out what's going on. If their marriage is struggling, we want to be there. We want to be a support, okay? So that's what we tried to do over Christmas as well. And then the fifth one, the final one, is this, Dream Team, okay? Dream Team. So that's it. Those 5. And everybody's got passion projects. Everybody's got things that they're passionate about. That's great. God may be calling you to that. But if it doesn't fit underneath these 5, we're not going to do it. Okay? We just know we're not going to do it. All right? So here's the deal. Our desire, again, is to increase influence. We want to, influence is huge. Steps that we are taking to influence and impact more people with the gospel of Christ. Making him known. Okay? Psalm 67, God be merciful to us. How many of you want that? God be merciful to us. And bless us. How many of you want that? Come on. Okay, watch this. And cause his face to shine upon us, that your way may be known. Isn't that cool? So how is his way known? By mercy, by blessing, and by him smiling upon our lives. That's how the world knows the love of God. It says that your way may be known on earth, your salvation among the nations. That's how the church is positioned. So it makes me excited. So here's the deal. Again, culturally, let's go back to this. So what do we celebrate as a church? I say it like this. Culture is what you consistently do. Like it comes out of that. You can say all day long that we are all about health, but if you go to Dunkin' Donuts every day, it doesn't line up, right? It's what you do. It's the activities in your life. It's what you celebrate. And so we talked about it, and there's two things. So don't worry, it falls underneath this category, the 5, okay? Here's what we get excited about is, first of all, groups. We get excited about groups. We really do. When somebody's in a group, when we see life change, Roger Carlo, if I could share with you some of the things that he said in that group before he passed away, it would just warm your heart. I mean, talk about powerful ministry that happened. Okay, but the other one this is what we're going to just close on tonight, okay? It is fully engaged people, okay? Engagement in what's going on. So we tried to describe it like this. When you come, you're going to decide whether or not you like or enjoy or are blessed by what's happening, if it impacts you, right? This is kind of what takes place. You check it out. And then what we love is when you go from, I like what's happening here, to I want to be a part of what's happening here. It's that involvement. It's that engagement. That's what all of you have already done, okay? You all have, I'm looking at the faces, the way you guys have stepped up, stepped in, has been amazing. And we realized as a church, that's what we celebrate. That's what we get excited about. Now, we get excited about baptisms and salvations. That is what every believer should, okay? I say it like this. The Great Commission is the mission of every church. That's never going anywhere. You don't need to add to it or take away from it. However, we each have our own lane, okay? So we love to see people who are impacted by what they experience at CT, and then they desire to become a part of it. You could say it like this. The impacted becomes the impactor, right? The blessed becomes the blesser. The casual attender becomes an active contributor. All right? That's what we get excited. And so how do we do it? It's real simple. It's the dream team. It's this. This is what we feel like. So groups is big, and then the dream team. And here's what we know. Here's what we know. Two things with the dream team. We need simple systems and clear expectations. And I just want to apologize on behalf of us. Our systems have not been very good lately, okay? And we are working on that, okay? This is what Nick has been tackling, the staff has been tackling. So the big question is this: how do we make it easy for people to join the dream team? If this is what we celebrate, if they're over here and we celebrate, sorry, camera, and this is what we celebrate, we've got to make this really clear. We've got to make this really easy, all right? And this is why this is so important. Listen to some of this. Going back to goals, having big goals, which is great, but watch. Goals don't determine success. Systems do. A system is how you accomplish the what. Again, this is not just for church. This is good for all of us. Andy Stanley says this: systems trump mission statements. What is happening in the halls trumps what is written on the walls. Some of you who serve in companies, you know that's true. Systems trump. Okay, James Clear says this: you do not rise to the level of your goals. We all have great goals. You fall to the level of your systems. How many of you know that's true? I thought about this on a more practical level with my parents. So I would say that the goal or the vision my parents had for all 7 of us kids was that they would have a vibrant faith life, right? That they would love Jesus. And I think any parent should say that if they go to church, right? And so here's what they knew they needed to do. We need to get the Word of God in their heart. Anybody agree with me on that, right? Okay, so we want them to love Jesus. We know we got to what? Get the Word in their heart. Now, that's where a lot of us stop. We'll talk about it. We'll talk to other people about that. Hey, we gotta get the Word of God in their heart. Yeah, you too, us too. This is so good. And then we do nothing about it. There's no system that's created, at least not a smooth system. And so here's what my parents did. I was like, oh my goodness, they had systems. They were so intentional. My parents, 4 mornings a week, we would do morning Bible study, take it to the bank. It would happen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, not on Thursday because of Wednesday night, and Friday. And here's how complicated the system was. My dad would get up, he'd open up the Bible after we all ate, he'd read a passage, and we'd talk about it. That was it. That was the system. And you know what the system did? It developed a love for the Word. And a love for the Word is a love for Jesus. Amen, anyone? Sometimes our systems lead to spiritual victories, lead to our faith growing. Some of you, this is not a jab. This is pointed at me too. The most spiritual thing you could do is get organized. Get systems in your life. You have all these goals. Goals are cheap. Everybody has goals. What's your system? And so we took that seriously, and we're like, if Dream Team is where we want it, if this team is important to us, which it is, to serve. I mean, how many of you have just spiritually grown in the last 20, 30 years, however many years you've served, just because of the situations you've been put in? I mean, like, God will grow you if you're teaching kindergartners, won't He? Come on, amen, somebody? God will challenge you if you're loving on youth. God will take care of you, and you will see or you will experience your faith growing as you serve. So we know Dream Team is a big deal. So we need a strong process. So Nick, you want to come on up? Okay, now as Nick is coming up, he's going to show you guys the system and the process. The reason we're telling you this is because we want it very clear so that when you tell other people about the Dream Team and how awesome it is to serve, amen? Okay, you can tell them, here's how you do it. All right? This is a big deal. Now, before Nick goes, I do want to say a few expectations. I'll just go through 4 of them really quickly. If you are, and all of you are, on the Dream Team, on Sunday morning, thank you for coming to the Sunday morning gathering, okay? That's the button ceremony. We're going to keep doing that, and it starts at 9:30, so if you could be there at 9:25, that'd be great. That way we can jump in and do that. So that's a vision and prayer time. Please show up. On Sunday morning, second thing is, would you wear ID, okay, which is the lanyards. Nick's going to show you our new lanyards. I love them. Or a CT Kids shirt, all right? But nothing else. I mean, we're not that kind of church, okay? We would draw a whole new crowd. Yeah, this is being recorded. Cut that out. Okay. Okay. What I'm saying is, wear a lanyard or a CT shirt. That's your identification. You've got to have that on. If you forgot it, we will have a plan for you to get another one, okay? And then there's just 2 character things I want to remind you about, okay? Because serving is a blessing, but Paul says that we serve, we love people with patience and long suffering. Okay, we all can learn how to do that better. Before David passes away and the kingdom is transferred to Solomon, he tells Solomon 2 things, and it's out there in the lobby. Okay, I love what he says. It's in Chronicles. Before he goes, he gives him these 2 nuggets. He says this: you need a willing mind and a loyal heart. And if you go and you study, when a king fails, it's because of his heart. And it begins right in the heart. Willing mind, here's what I would say a willing mind is. My definition, you can see it your own way or look at it in a different way, but you are moldable and you are a leader that continues to learn. That's why we have a milkshake button, because you can make it happen. You're adaptable. That's very valuable, okay? And then a loyal heart, of course, to Jesus, but also to the place where he's called you. And here's what I wrote down: calling trumps feelings. You know you're supposed to be here. You know you're supposed to be serving the people around you, even at times when they drive you crazy, right? That's what loyal heart. Willing mind, loyal heart. That's what David gave to Solomon. I want to challenge all of us, myself included, with that, okay? So Nick's going to take it from here. Nick, thank you.
Dream Team, that's where we want people to be a part. We want them to be connected, and you all are such great servants. And so, but the thing is, right, when Paul talks about the body, that's the purpose of the church, is we all have something to contribute. We all have something to give and be a part of. And so we don't want to make it hard for people to be on the team. And we were looking at our process. It wasn't that we didn't have a process, because there's always a system. Even whenever you don't mean to have a system, there's some system in place of how to get people on the team. But when we looked at it, it was really, the issue was just consistency across the different teams, and how we were communicating with the team leads, and how they were, how we got people from I'm interested to actually being, on the team and learning and being trained to how to do their job, whether it's Sunday morning or throughout the week, because we have some teams that are only Sunday morning and some teams that are throughout the week. So it really starts with Connect. And so if you've been coming to the church for less than a year, you probably came to a Connect. If you've been coming longer, every first Sunday of the month, we have Connect right after service. And that's where we gently and lovingly try to usher people out a little bit just for noise. But after the service, we have Connect up here, and that's whenever we're meeting with people that have been new guests, people that have been coming. And shout out to First Impressions. First Impressions, woo! A couple of them here. So First Impressions, they're handing out guest box every Sunday to new people that are coming, and in the guest box is one of these cards. And so it's just a way to get people to come to Connect. And then at Connect, we really focus on those 2 areas that Pastor Jonathan mentioned. So it's here's how to get in a group, and here's how to get on the Dream Team if you want to serve. And so that's where we start. But we just updated the Dream Team, the Get Involved card. But again, we had a system, but it wasn't very clear. So we tried to simplify it. And this is what it looks like right now. Then we'll start the new system really in April, because March is going to be our time to prep and make sure and talk to the ministry leads, make sure everyone's on the same page, and we're kind of fleshing it out still. But can you go back to the Dream Team on-ramp slide, Cyprian? Okay, so it looks like this. We tried to simplify it as best we could. So step one, if somebody's coming to the church and we want them, anybody that comes, we're like, yes, we want you to be a part of what's going on here. We'd love for you to come to connect. And so step one is connect, where they'll get a get involved card. Whenever we put a QR code on here that goes to the website, and so they get the card. Step two is if they follow the QR code, it goes to an application on the website. The application is pretty simple. It's basically just personal, contact information, where would you want to serve, and then, what's your relationship with Jesus? Because it's going to be pretty hard to fail the application, but we wanted to at least be able to talk to someone if their theology is way out there or we're not really sure where they're coming from. So we could, at that point in step two, just review the application. And then from there, we'll send them a background check. Once they submit the application online, we'll send them a background check, and that's just for kids and for youth. So everybody, if you don't serve on one of those teams, everybody that serves in the kids ministry does a background check before they can be on the team. And then they'll receive a thank you video for the church. Thank you for applying. But at that point, they're not necessarily on the team. That's just a thank you for being interested. We'll be in contact with you. That will point to step three, and this is something new. We'll be talking with the team leads about the first Sunday of the month. We're asking the team leads to be on call, basically. So they don't necessarily have to be at a Team Connect, but the Team Connect will be the first Sunday of the month at 9 a.m. So first Sunday of the month is going to be a busy day. We've got Team Connect in the morning, right before the Dream Team meeting, and then after we'll have the CT Connect for new people. But we did that because it's going to be once a month, but really, at least once a month, that means 12 times a year, we'll have an opportunity to say, if you want to be on a team, come and be a part of this, and then we'll get you connected with your team leads. So if someone, for example, on hospitality says, I'd like to be part of the team mid-month, so in March, then we'll direct them and say, the first Sunday in April, come, and we'll get you in contact with Diane Newman or a representative if Diane can't be there, because she's the lead for that team. So then after that, immediately after that, step four is the team lead will set up either an interview or an audition, for example, for the worship team, but that's just for more information. And then from there, the team lead will take it, and they'll get to decide whether or not this person is on the team or not. And depending on what the requirements are for first impressions, the requirements will be different for worship team, different for CT kids. Just getting to know the people, and that might take a process of just saying, hey, you might not fit on this team, but can we move you over here? Would you be interested in serving in this area? So it'll be a little bit of a discussion. And then from there, step five, they'll be on the dream team. So we try to make it as graphically as simple as we could, but this is really the reason we want to share this is it really starts with the Get Involved card. And so what we're asking is it's not just the team lead's job to recruit, but if you see someone who's a guest and they've been coming, a week or two, or they've been coming for a while, and it comes up in conversation that they're like, yeah, I'd kind of like to serve at the church, then this is the best way to say, here, take one of these cards. They're going to be in different places around the auditorium and the lobby, but we're hoping this will make recruiting the simplest we can, and just say, please take one of these cards. On the back, it has areas they could apply for, or areas that they want to serve in, and then that should be hopefully the easiest way to get them at least on this track, because the goal is to get as many people as we can to the green, right? Because we want people to be plugged in. Like, that's so much of our heart is we want people to go from attending to being involved. And so that's what the process looks like. Yeah, you can go back to the Get Involved slide, Cyprian. That's what the card looks like. So it is live if you want to check it out. Please don't apply a bunch of times, because that would just create a bunch of work for me. But you can go online, and the application is out there for people to go. And actually, we already had someone do it before we even launched it. We didn't mean for it to be live, and someone did it. So we're like, awesome, it works. And so this will be a way for people to apply and get started on that process. And let's see, last thing I have tonight, and I'll turn it back over to Pastor Jonathan to close, is one thing that's been in my mind for a while is we do have new lanyards that we're rolling out. We got a beautiful green that says, know Jesus, make him known. And all of the lanyards, this was actually something that started with the kids. We decided, we should have everyone's name on their lanyard. To keep it personal, we just did first name. We didn't do last name. So if you share a name with someone else, you now have a lanyard buddy. So you try to not steal theirs, and they might try to not steal yours. But what we did was we just went through as many people on the dream team as we could think of. If I missed someone, I am sorry. That was not at all a personal thing. There was 80 of these lanyards to make. And so I was like, praise the Lord, there's 80 people serving at the church. So we're excited about that. But so these are the new lanyards. We're handing them out tonight. So afterwards, if you'd like to come up and find your name, like I said, if your name's not up here, let me know, and we'll make you one right away. But you'll be able to get a new lanyard, and we are restarting the button system. I'll let Pastor Jonathan, handle that on Sunday morning and what that's going to look like. But we are going to restart with the buttons, new buttons, and another part of the lanyard is just a place to put them, because we've had hooks in the volunteer room. If you don't know where that is, it's down the hallway, last door on the left before the youth room. There weren't enough hooks. And so we went out this week. There are 102 hooks in there now. And we were just talking about it. I was like, how cool would it be in a year if we can fill every hook? Like, that's just, and it's all on one wall. I'm already calling it the green wall because I want it to be just green from all the lanyards that are up there. But so we're excited. So this is kind of a reset with the lanyards. We're looking at the lanyards, and there's a little bit of a hodgepodge. Some are different sizes, some are different colors, and some people have like 4 badges on theirs. You know who you are, and with your name on all of them. But so this is an opportunity to just, if you'd please get one. And you're not required to keep it at the church, but we do encourage you to keep it back in that room. One, because it'll look really cool with 80 lanyards in there, just from all the people that are serving. Because again, I know Pastor Jonathan has said so many times, it's not the Jonathan show, it's not the Laura show, it's not any of the staff. It's we are the body, we are the church. And so this is just a representation of who the church is and who we are. So I'll go ahead and invite Pastor Jonathan up again. Thank you all for bearing with us. And like I said, this is not a final system. We'll continue to tweak it as we go, but it's a first step in making it easier for people to join the team. So, all right, thank you.
Would you all stand? We'll close. I believe the church is the hope of the world. And I believe that we are positioned perfectly, right, to see God do some amazing things in our lives and in other people's. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for just giving, serving, loving on people. You guys are amazing. That's a part of the culture. That's why I love being here. I am challenged by your sacrificial attitude, your love. I mean, you guys, again, just do an amazing job. So Jesus, thank you for really setting the pace for us. Thank you, Lord, for the way that you love us, served us. It's just unbelievable. And I'm so grateful to be a part of what you're doing here in this moment. And Lord, obviously we're just trying to do a better job at systems and getting people involved. But again, it's all to bring glory back to you. We love you so much. Bless everybody on their way home in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, guys. Come grab your lanyard. And then again, that room is all the way back to the left.